Good morning, everybody. Hi, how are you doing? I'm just recording this video to share with you an overview of what I'm looking for from you this week and an explanation of how to get it and why it's important. Okay, I know not everybody was able to attend the Zoom on Thursday, but luckily, a lot of what we covered, you can still use the resources that I've posted last week and the week before to find the same information. So, what I'm asking you to do this week basically is for tomorrow, I'd like you to give me the first draft of your research question. Okay, so last week, what we posted in discussion was general ideas about the topic we think we might want to pursue. And then on Thursday in the Zoom meeting, we talked about ways that you can go from that topic or maybe a broad question and really start to narrow it down into a question that you can answer. And one of the ways that you do that is by seeing what information is out there and how much scholarship there is available to you to help prove your point, whatever that is. You might need to do research to find actually the answer to your question first. Or what you think your answer should be. But yeah, so basically what I'm asking you for tomorrow is what you consider to be your final research question. It's not going to be your final research question because you and I are going to go back and forth a little bit to determine whether or not it really is the right question for you to ask. And so in order to submit this question, what you need to do is have done some research about the question, okay? This research could be online, just on the free and open web like we talked about. So reading the Wikipedia page, looking at different primary sources that people are, interviews with people and quotes from people and how they appear on social media or whatever might be relevant to the topic that you're going to investigate. But in addition to that, what I'm asking for tomorrow is for you to share one library source that you think is useful to you. Whether or not you use it in your final paper, that doesn't matter. But basically, if we take Mike's topic, sorry, Mike, but if we take Mike's topic, looking at the economics of professional basketball, okay, that's his very broad topic. And he's thought about ways to get that into a question. So if we think about that topic, as Mike is getting closer to his question, surely he's looking at stats on the NBA website. He's reading, commentary on ESPN and all these other, The Ringer and all these other places online, right? And that's helping him to really narrow down his topic and narrow down his question. But then what I'm asking for him to do is, in addition to giving me that question, I'm asking him to go onto the library website and look for an article that he might use in his final research paper. You might be doing this on the library website instead of using Google to find some information about your project, right? And that's great. I fully recommend it, but you don't have to. But ultimately, you do need to end up at the library. And so, if we think about Mike's topic and kind of the questions that he might be thinking about, you want to think about what search terms you might use when you're on the library website, right, to find an article that's useful. You might not want to go as broad as sports and salary. That might be too broad, right, because we're looking at the National Basketball Association. So you might want to look at the search terms NBA and income, or NBA and wealth, or NBA and salary, to find some articles. Another thing that he might do is find on the free web, he might find some NBA players that have spoken about this, or know that there's research done about these particular players. So maybe he'll search for those people in the library as well, right? And so just kind of going onto the library website and starting to evaluate the sources that are out there to see which ones might be good for him, might work. And then, so on Tuesday, what I'm asking you to do is to upload, in the assignment, it's going to be an assignment, and I'm going to ask you to upload the article, upload the actual PDF. So I don't want a citation. I don't want just like the name of the article. I want the actual PDF so that I can look at it, okay, of the article. And you do that just by downloading the PDF. I don't want a link either, the actual PDF, all right? So download the PDF, take a look at it, and then in the discussion board, we're going to write we're going to share our question and then also an explanation of why that source is good for you. So I don't necessarily want to know in the discussion board a summary of what the article is about. More, I want to know how you're going to use it. Okay, so if Mike finds an article about the disparity between income between players that stay in the United States and players that go abroad, okay, that's what the article is about. So I don't need him to tell me like a summary of everything the researcher found. Instead, I need, in Mike's words, to hear why that article is good for him in his essay. And so it might be something like, this article will be helpful because it will provide the background for the conflict that people are dealing with when trying to decide whether or not to stay in the United States and go pro or go overseas. This is the foundation of the conflict about which I'm going to make my argument, right? So it's really in Mike's voice. It's not in the researcher's voice. It's me learning what the article is about, right? Mike's in my later afternoon section, for those of you that don't know him, by the way. He's not some fictional character. Okay, so that's what we're going to look for on Tuesday. In addition, I'm asking you to review the Purdue OWL website. That's the Office of Writing and Learning at the Purdue University. And they have, I think this is like the gold standard for a lot of things, one of which is citations and how to do citations. So you'll be using it in the future to do that. But also, there's a really great resource on how to conduct research. So kind of what we went over last week, and then also how to incorporate research into your writing. Okay, so I want you to look at that website, because on Thursday we'll do another Zoom meeting instead of having a discussion board, and we'll talk about some of the stuff that that you guys read about on the Purdue website in conjunction with the stuff that you're reading for your papers, right? So the questions on Purdue's website that they answer, they talk about, how do you take quotes from a paper and put them, or from an article and put them into your paper? Or how do you summarize and then take a summary and put that into your paper? And so you'll read through that, and then we'll use your articles to talk about that on Thursday. Okay. So that's just an explanation. I'm obviously going to write the details of the assignment on Blackboard. I'm sorry it wasn't up yesterday, but to give you an idea of what's due. And don't panic about the speed with which we're doing this, because two things. Number one, this is not your final research question. I'm going to read your research question, and over the course of the next week, you and I are going to email about whether or not your research question is doable. So if you post something that is still vague, that's fine. And then number two, this article that you find is not an article that you have to use in your final paper. I'm just asking you to find an article that's about the subject that you're going to research, to get practice doing it and get practice looking at what the article is about and understanding it, so that you can start thinking about how to incorporate it into your paper. Okay, so it's not something that should take a really long time. It's not something that you should be like worrying about. If you did step one last week, which was to think about your topic and try and narrow it down into a question, I've given you feedback on that. Right? And if I haven't yet, I will this morning. But I've started to give feedback on all of those. And so you should be able to take that feedback and go right into this next step. Okay? And then, like I said, we'll do a Zoom on Thursday, because I think some people did like it. And it's just an opportunity for us to chat. It doesn't take the whole class time. I think we were about 40 minutes for each class. And turns out my son has strep throat, so he is sick. We're all sick. But thank God it's not Corona. And that's this week. So I'm looking forward to it. After this week, we only have Tuesday, and then it's Easter break, and we'll take a real break, and it won't require you to do anything over that time. So let's just get there, and then we'll be close to kind of wrapping up this crazy semester. Bye, guys. I gotta turn it off. Bye.